Hey, what's up guys? It's finally time for the big Sakura trailer breakdown. She'll be the first character coming to Street Fighter V Arcade Edition. We'll be going through this whole thing, every segment, and I'll do my best to explain what we are seeing. So, let's get started here. The first thing we see is a forward throw. I mean, nothing else to say. Throw loops confirmed. Nah, I'm just kidding. In the second segment, we see her do a jumping medium kick into a crouching hard punch, cancelled into her DP. So, the first thing we see is that her jumping medium kick is obviously her cross-up attack. Looks like a good cross-up. She is hitting a crouching opponent. And then she does a crouching hard punch, and we notice when the crouching hard punch hits, it forces stand on hit. And then we see the crouching hard punch animation looks like it stops short on hit a little bit, like midway, kind of like how Ryu's hard punch hits, but the full animation on block, which we see real soon here, looks like it's still good anti-air. Her arm stretches all the way up. And then she cancels her crouching hard punch into her classic Shoryuken, her DP. This definitely looks like the hard punch version. It does a lot of hits and she goes quite far with it. Now onto the third segment, we see her use her V skill, and then she goes punch, punch, and then punch. So first off, I love the animation of her flailing her arms all like Nathan Drake styles. And her V skill is called Harukaze. And Sakura's V skill is a command jump, which works like her old, Sakura Otoshi from before. This V skill has multiple follow-ups though, not just punch, similar to like a demon flip, for example. So in this clip, we see her do the punch follow-up. You can then press punch 2 more times for 3 juggles total. The final punch slams them to the ground, as we can see. Alright, the next thing we see is Balrog block her crouching hard punch into her quarter circle forward punch, and then she blocks Balrog and does her V reversal, and the next thing we see is a jumping hard kick into a back hard punch, into quarter circle back medium kick, into her crouching light punch, into the medium punch version of her DP. So, we know her fireball is not -10 because Balrog's light rush is a 10 frame startup, so it's not that bad. We also know Sakura can charge her fireballs like she could before. Also, her V reversal is probably done with forward and 3 kicks. I mean, all the other kick V reversals are like that. And when it hits, it's a knockdown type V reversal. Her jumping hard kick is her classic, jumping forward or jumping back hard kick animation. And then we see this is her back hard punch, command normal, okay? So you can see this is her old close hard punch animation from before, but now it's a command normal back hard punch. So word on the street is that this is a very reliable anti-air. And then we see that she cancels her back hard punch into her Tatsu, most likely the medium kick version of her Tatsu, and then she links into her crouching light punch afterwards because it doesn't knock down, which means that her medium kick Tatsu is at least +3 on hit if her crouching light punch is 3 frame startup. She then cancels her crouching light punch into a DP, it's a long combo, and most likely the medium punch version just because of the distance and the amount of hits compared to the other time we saw it. Next up, we see Sakura do her V skill again, but this time pressing kick, and then she goes crouching light punch, standing light kick, cancelled into the medium punch version of her DP. So this time we get to see the kick follow-up of her V skill, which is a dive kick. We saw this in CVS too. We don't know if it's an overhead attack. Probably not though. We then see Sakura link 3 light attacks and cancel her standing light kick into a DP, which is most likely the medium punch version again. In the next segment, we see crouching light punch, standing medium punch, back hard punch, cancelled into her V trigger 1, and then back hard punch again into quarter circle forward punch into DP punch. So, the first crouching light punch we see in this segment is to break the armor of Abigail. It's not actually part of the combo. And then she lands a counter hit standing light punch. Very key thing here, it's a counter hit standing light punch because Abigail is charging his hard punch from the run. This links into a standing medium punch, which also links into her back hard punch. So she can go medium into hards. She cancels this into her V trigger, and one that allows her to squeeze in another back hard punch afterwards. She then cancels into her Hadoken, that knocks Abigail up in the air and then juggles into her DP. Alright, so let me explain how her V trigger 1 works. So this powers up both of Sakura's fireballs, giving them an extra hit each. And it puts the opponent into a juggle state that allows additional follow-ups as we've seen in this clip. So far we've only seen her normal Hadoken, which goes straight, but she also has another fireball that goes upwards diagonally. This one is done with quarter circle forward and kick. So she also gains a new palm strike attack as well, that's done by pressing hard punch and hard kick at the same time. So pressing V trigger again after you activate. We see this at the end of the trailer, and word on the street on this is that it's plus on block. So this V trigger amplifies her zoning basically, and her combo enders with some extra utility with the palm strike. I'm going to assume this is a 2-bar V trigger. Alright, now we see Sakura fly to the tavern where she meets Vega, and then she simply just does an air throw, and we notice that it switches sides as well. Also, EX wall dive sucks. Okay, in the next segment, we see a jumping hard kick into a standing hard punch, cancelled into core circle back EX kicks into a DP light punch. So, after the jumping hard kick, we can see that we can now see what her standing hard punch looks like, the normal standing hard punch, which is the same animation as her classic far hard punch from previous games. She cancels this into EX Tatsu, which allows a juggle follow-up, and in this case we see her juggle into a light DP. This might be corner only, but I doubt it. Like, I'm sure she can always juggle into something. Sakura is always a combo heavy character. Okay, next up we see jumping medium punch into an air EX Tatsu. So we can see that our jumping medium punch puts the opponent into a juggle state and be cancelled as well, similar to like Ryu's jumping medium punch or Rishi's jumping medium punch, etc. Her air EX Tatsu stays in place, she just floats there, so this allows her to, you know, bait or dodge stuff in clutch situations where you're like falling to your doom, for example. Alright, now we see Sakura do her V skill into a throw. So first thing I should note is that it shows Sakura V skill go through Rashid's fireball. So it definitely has some projectile invincibility, which is really important. We now see the third follow-up to her V skill, which is just a throw follow-up by inputting light punch and light kick at the same time. And it knocks the opponent far away, and so we can assume that when she does her throw follow-up, it can be avoided by just crouching like the rest of the cast. Okay, on to the 11th segment this time. We see Sakura do a crush counter back hard punch, cancelled into her second V trigger this time, V trigger number 2, and then she hits the opponent in the air with core circle forward kicks, and then she juggles with core circle back kick, cancelled into V skill, and then she goes punch, punch, punch. So we can see that Sakura's back hard punch is also her crush counter. That's pretty crazy. Anti-air, combos from mediums and crush counter, and this pops them up in the air like Guile's crouching hard punch crush counter, for example. She then cancels into V trigger 2 and juggles into the EX version of her up fireball. That's core circle forward kicks. And then the up fireball allows a juggle afterwards. Sakura uses her Tatsu. Apparently also her up fireball, the normal one, also allows a juggle. Sakura then cancels the last hit of her Tatsu into her V skill and finishes with the punch follow-up variation. So now it's time to explain her second V trigger now and how it works. This time she powers up both her DP and her Tatsu special moves. So both versions are better than her EX versions, the DP and Tatsu, and can be done up to 4 times before the V trigger ends. So I'm going to assume you can't even do the EX versions even if you wanted to during this, like Akuma's first V trigger, but they're more powerful anyways, it says. Tatsu can be cancelled into V skill, as we can see in the clip, which allows her to continue the combo with a punch or kick follow-up on her V skill. The DP also does 2 reps and is now invincible, and we can see her cancel into critical art at the end of the trailer. This V trigger pretty much just amplifies Sakura's combo potential like greatly, and is most likely a 3-bar V trigger just looking at these clips. Now we get to see a big combo here. We see crush counter back hard punch cancelled into core circle forward kicks, and then we use V trigger 1, and then we press hard punch and hard kick at the same time into core circle forward punch, into core circle back kicks, into DP with punches. So this combo starts off with a crush counter back hard punch, which is then cancelled into the EX up fireball. Then Sakura activates V trigger 1 and juggles into her palm strike. We can see the palm strike actually knocks Ryu back up in the air, which allows another juggle. Sakura juggles into a powered up fireball, which allows yet another juggle and does the EX Tatsu. Finally juggles into the EX DP at the end. So this is a 3-bar combo. This is a ton of juggles in this, and a lot of this is done in the corner. Alright, the final combo we see now is a crush counter standing hard kick cancelled into V trigger 2, and then she dashes and goes standing medium punch back hard punch, cancelled into core circle back kick, canceled into V skill, and then the kick follow up, and then DP with punch, and then critical hard. So we can see that our standing hard kick is another crush counter for Sakura, which puts them in a spin state. And then Sakura cancels this crush counter into her V trigger 2, and then dashes in. And then she links in the standing medium punch, which links into back hard punch, canceled into the powered up version of her Tatsu. She then cancels the end of her powered up Tatsu with V skill and does the kick follow up this time, which still puts him in a juggled state. And then she juggles this with our powered up DP and then cancels the second rep into critical art. So speaking of Sakura's critical art, Sakura has two variations of her super. In the trailer we see it goes into full animation if done close, and this version obviously will do the most damage. If you do this super far away though, it's a high damage Hadouken similar to Ryu's super. So this is kind of like Oni in Street Fighter 4 for example. We get this extra animation, but it does say it does significantly more damage. So that's it guys, that's a wrap, that's the entire trailer. I mean, if you look at Sakura now, you guys have a better understanding. You can see she is very true to the character, very similar. So she looks like she's really easy to pick up and play if you're familiar with her. And yeah, let me know what you guys think about this in the comments below. Be sure to subscribe to the channel guys, because of course I got a lot more arcade edition stuff to talk about. We got to go through some of the balance changes that we heard over the weekend and some other footage, so still a lot to do. Also, don't forget to like the video guys, it helps out. And yeah, till next time guys, see you later.